I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was legitimately cursed before I was born. In Minneapolis, my mom was on the bus, and there was this crazy old gypsy lady that was like, "I curse your unborn child." I'm Andrew Larivee. I am a musician. I play trombone with the Artificial AIs, and I also play with Anonymous Phenomenon. I've been in other bands such as Chameleon Moonflower, Boreal Gardens, a lot of other bands. But yeah, I sing, play guitar, trombone, bass, and I teach music lessons and work as a caregiver med aid at an assisted living facility.
When I went to get my first new car, my dad said to get a Subaru because they last. He drives a Legacy, but I'm nothing like him. I got the new Impreza. Maybe I should have picked a different color.
The all-new Subaru Impreza. Experience love that lasts.
My first car was a 2006 red Subaru Impreza.
I have a 2008 Subaru Impreza. I like it, but I don't love it. I would say it does not Impreza me much.
That's a good one.
I've had it in the shop a few times now. I just got it out, $800 bill for camshaft leak.
Yeah.
Good Lord now.
Yeah, it's crazy. My current car is a 2016 Subaru Impreza, so hasn't changed much, but this one has a whole lot of problems. Like, I feel like they sold me a lemon,
Yeah.
and they weren't honest with me with like the problems and the miles that it had on before, but I had so many issues with it. I could go into it, but it's like traumatic, honestly. Like, there was one time where I guess it's called like not the bumper, but the bumper plate of the car just fell off while I was driving on a windy day.
Okay.
So that's fun. But
So did you lose your license plate?
yeah, I still don't have like the license plate was attached to the bottom, so I didn't lose the license plate. It's just like the bumper plate that's gone, that's missing.
Weird. Okay. Just from the wind.
Yeah, I was living in Fargo at the time, and I had to drive to Mandan for a practice, and I lost it somewhere in Mandan, and I tried looking for it, and it was just gone. So it was...
That's Mandan for you, though. People lose things. Virginity, all sorts of stuff. Just gone.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, okay, so now you got another Impreza?
Yep, yeah, those are the two
Intentional?
I mean, my dad is a huge Subaru fan, or has been, so we were a Subaru family. He had, like, the whole fleet. He's got, like, a really nice, I forget what it's called, but it's like a sports car Subaru.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, so at the time, that was, like, he was really nice, and he had bought the 2006 Impreza for me and I, like, helped make payments and stuff, but and then later on, like, the first car I bought outright was a used car, and it's still making payments. I'm not a huge car fan, to be completely honest. It's just completely utilitarian, like
Right, yeah.
yeah, and I just seem to have had bad luck with cars over the time, like keeping them running. I'm not a car guy, but yeah, I'm a fan of like when they used to make good cars, like in the 50s and 60s.
Of course,
like
right.
Those are
Yeah.
beautiful works of art, but now it's just kind of they're all ugly to me. I love walking. Walking is probably my favorite mode of transportation. I have biked a lot. My dad really likes ride and bike. So I do that with him sometimes. I lived in Portland, Oregon for a couple of years. I biked a lot there. So I just feel most comfortable on 2 feet with like I'm not like a skater person. I just kind of like trust myself when I'm walking on 2 feet. It's good exercise. I can really slow down, kind of see what's around me. That's my favorite mode of transportation.
Portland, how long were you there for? You said a couple years?
Yeah, 2 years, 2009 to 2011, like right in the middle of a recession. But I loved it. It's beautiful out there. It was really nice being like an hour away from the coast and an hour away from mountains. So literally anywhere I wanted to be, I could be. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time to be in Portland, like as a early 20-something.
Was it walkable?
Yeah, for the most part. So where I worked was kind of like in Tigard, which is a suburb. So it was kind of like southwest Portland, and that's not as drivable. That's more like suburban sprawl. But like both East Portland and then like downtown Portland was pretty walkable, and they have lots of gorgeous parks. They'll just have forests in the middle of the city that you just kind of discover. That was really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the very first car that I had was my parents' Honda Odyssey. So I didn't get my license until I think I was the year before my senior year of high school. I didn't really have a car. It was just kind of the Odyssey that was like, go ahead and drive that. And by that time, it was not in the greatest shape. Like the scariest moments of my life was in the middle of winter. I had just got my license and I was driving the Odyssey and the brakes went out. So I remember being in the Gateway Mall parking lot and it was really icy. My brakes weren't working and I was using the emergency brake and just sliding all over the parking lot, barely avoiding other cars. Like I'm amazed how I didn't get in an accident that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first car, and then
I'm amazed there were any cars in that parking lot to begin with.
Back in the day, like there was still, yeah, it's funny. Like that's always kind of been my favorite mall because it's such a ghetto mall. But
right,
yeah, I've always kind of preferred that to Kirkwood.
I do too. Yeah, just the amount of people alone. Yeah, where there is none, that's my kind of place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same here. And then I had a Honda Civic after that, or my parents did, another loaner car. And that one had its share of problems. There was one time where like I was driving and the tailpipe just like dropped and was grinding against the ground as I was driving. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. But
yeah, that's not going to work.
So yeah, and in that time, like I went to school in Arizona for a time where I wasn't driving. Yeah, it wasn't really until it was 2006. My dad bought it for me, a 2006 Subaru Impreza. So that was my first
brand new
real car.
Wow,
brand
right
new.
on.
Yeah.
Is this a automatic 5-speed?
It was an automatic. Yep. I am horrible with manual transition cars. I've never mastered that and never had to, I guess. So,
Yeah. If you never had to, you probably never will. That's kind of how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
You either have to or you don't.
Unless I was like a car aficionado and like really wanted to get a fancy car, but
right.
I don't have the money for that nor the interest.
So I got the 08 Impreza with the 5-speed.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, mine was pretty smooth to drive. It was a hatchback style, and from the time that I got it to the time that I didn't have it, it ran pretty well and didn't have a whole lot of problems. So it was definitely a good first car to have. That's the car that I drove to Portland to and from. So we had a lot of great times together in that car. My grandma was a piano teacher and a organist in the church, and I took piano lessons from her as a child. I never practiced, so I never really got very good at it. The first time, and then I got started violin 4th grade. It wasn't really until I got a trombone in 5th grade. And I remember, like, the end of 4th grade, they show you all the instruments.
Yeah.
And I remember the only instrument that I, like, looked at and the only one I tried was a trombone for whatever reason. It was just like, this is the one.
Yeah. You just saw it and you're like gravitated toward that?
Yeah. And yeah, it wasn't until like 7th grade that I was like, I mean, I was pretty good at it. I was the only person playing trombone. But 7th grade, I got into the jazz band and I realized that like improvising like over music, like I had kind of a natural feel for it. It was kind of easy to me. And then I remember going to the University of Mary Jazz Festival that year in 7th grade, and it was awesome. It was kind of a mind-blowing experience for me, just seeing how much fun they were having, how impressive the music was.
Yeah. That's so eye-opening, too. When you start an instrument and then you see other people who have maybe not even mastered it, just are so much better than what you are at that moment. Like what you could be, and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And I remember they had Tom Bones Malone, who was the trombonist in the Blues Brothers band.
Yeah?
He was there as a guest artist.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Bones Malone.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so it was a really, transfiguring moment for me where it was like, this means something to me. And so I just kept playing trombone in high school. I had some friends that like wanted to get a jazz combo started, so we would play like in bars as like 16, 17-year-olds playing jazz.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really fun, just playing like out of fake books and stuff. And yeah, so that was like, just got really into jazz. I had a really good teacher who kind of pushed me, had us playing like professional charts, and I just was listening to a lot of music. And at the same time, I was listening to a lot of other music too. Like I've always been a fan of classical music and rock music. Like as a kid, got into the Beatles. When I was like around 12, I had like a Nirvana phase where it's like, this is the most important band. And like
right. Isn't that weird how like phases come? Like
Yeah.
and then you kind of drop everything else to focus on one genre or group.
Yeah, exactly. Especially around like teenage years, I was just listening to a whole lot of stuff and was getting into Radiohead and other things. I was kind of a little becoming a what's the word? Just I don't know. I big fan of music, and I was starting to like come up with ideas for songs in my head, like at least like melodies.
Okay, cool.
And but that was something that I really kind of like didn't talk to a lot of people about because I was a pretty serious student at the time. Like a lot of my identity was doing well in school, and like I had art. I was big into art and big into music. And
what's your GPA?
It was 4.0.
Nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Like I went to the valedictorian brunch or whatever.
Oh,
yeah,
schnazzy.
Yeah, and all that time I was like, I don't know, I was like book smart, but not maybe especially street smart. I was pretty sheltered, and I got a full ride to the University of Arizona. And
oh wow,
yeah, for pre-architecture, and just kind of like, it was too much for me. I didn't know anyone there. It was really overwhelming, and I quit after a semester, went back to BSc, enrolled in some music classes, but I never graduated college, and just kind of...
Hey, you're in good company, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. And I had a friend who had moved to Portland, Oregon, and it was always something where it's like, well, maybe I need a fresh start. And my parents were pretty supportive of that, so...
They're like, get the hell out of the house.
Kind of, yeah.
Set you packing.
Yeah, and because I had been living with them. I'm trying to think if I think I was living with them, saving money, and then I went to Portland. Yeah, it took a second to get a job, but once I got a job, I really enjoyed living there. And at that time, I was getting a little more comfortable playing music in front of people. Like I had kind of learned guitar on my own and would go to open mics and sing my songs and whatever. And like, I also was a fan of karaoke. Like that was pretty fun, just singing. So I got more comfortable as a performer and was starting to write more. But it wasn't really until I went back to Bismarck around 2011, and around that time, 2012, what became Anonymous Phenomenon, it was kind of more like a soul funk R&B band. I met a lot of the guys that would be in that band, and they're like, "We hear you play trombone, you should start playing." And I hadn't played in a while, but they had faith in me. I started practicing, played a few shows with them, and that's what got me back into playing trombone, back into playing music. It was awesome. And also I got more ingratiated in the scene in Bismarck and started playing in some original bands, playing bass. And then eventually Boreal Gardens was a band where I was like singing, playing guitar, playing trombone. Took a while for us to figure out like who was all playing what in that band, but that was a lot of fun. We played a lot of shows at the old Laughing Sun location, and yeah, all of a sudden I was just like playing a lot, gigging a lot, and got a lot better as a musician just playing with other seasoned performers.
Yeah. Strange how that can, how much better you can get, obviously, by playing and doing it more than just playing at home and practicing. You
Definitely.
know?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many last minute change ups when you're doing stuff live that you just don't get at practice. It really kind of helps harness your talent.
Yeah. And like there were horror stories too of just I was so inexperienced and green as far as like setup goes that there were a few times where it was just like I had to learn.
Yeah.
But once you get that time, once you get those hours in, like you can kind of see things before they happen in a way,
yeah,
and you're able to like just connect
adjust
with people
on the spot. Kinda.
Yeah, definitely.
Explain the drive of wanting to play live music. I mean, like you strike me as somebody who was a little bit shy or hesitant to be in music, but you did it anyway. What's the drive behind that?
Sure. I'm definitely an introverted person, always have been. I think there have been times in my life where I felt more extroverted, like turning 21 and going to bars helped a little with that. I think for me, with music, it was especially like writing songs, it was to try to be more understood because I feel like I have a tendency to live in my head or push people away. But I really am a social being, even though I'm an introvert. I just can't be around people all the time, but we're all in this together. I want to feel connected, but it took a while, and it's still, I get anxiety. Like I get
Sure.
nerves before.
Same.
Yeah.
I never will get over that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's good, like, cause you care. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I was hoping, I think I'm better at like understanding what the nerves are there for, and yeah, it'll always just be part of it. But like once I'm finally playing on stage, like all of that goes away, and that's what I love about music more than anything, is that just like all the fears, all the doubts, all the frustrations, it all can kind of be subliminated in the music, especially when you're playing with like in bands and stuff. It's just a really, and especially if like the crowd is really into it, like that transfer
Oh my
of
gosh.
energy.
Yes,
that's
exactly. Yeah.
There's really
Then
nothing better than that.
You really lose it. You lose yourself in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
You can play with hundreds of people, and if they're all having a good time, I will not be nervous or have an issue. But I could be playing in a hotel room and there's only 4 people in the back with their arms crossed.
Right.
And they just stand there looking like they're judging me.
Yeah.
That can make me more nervous than anything.
And it
that's
seems
so
to
weird.
take forever too, like gigs like that. Yeah, I've had my share, and I like the randomness of it too. Like, I mean, it's all about the energy, but you can't really predict that, and it's a weird gumbo of like your energy and the energy of the audience and anything else that's going on. But when it's, when it's working, when it's right, and that's those memories, those moments are priceless to me.
How do you go from trombone on the sidelines of a band to fronting a band, being on the mic? That takes a lot of guts. I've done it too.
Yeah.
How do you transition to that?
Yeah, it's different. Like it's I think for me, what made me like want to do that eventually, and it was a process, like it was like I needed to get comfortable. I needed to get into a position of like, all right, I'm ready. I got to find the crew, got to find what's going to work. And still, like, there was never a band where I was like just the lead singer. Like I shared duties in bands that I was in, but which I'm grateful for, because like 3 hours of singing with a loud band like that, I don't know how anyone can do that really, like without like wrecking your voice. But for me, I think it was just because I had these songs and I felt passionate about these songs and I wanted to get them out somehow. So the process kind of seemed, it took a long time. It took a long time for my skill as a guitarist and singer to get to the level that I wanted to feel comfortable in front of people. And it took finding kind of the right people that were like, yeah, I like your stuff. Let's keep going on this. But honestly, music is music. And like I think I'm pretty good. I've played a lot of different roles in bands. I've been the bass player, the keyboard player, the kind of utilitarian, whatever you need. I feel like I can do a pretty good job of filling that role. In the bands where I'm like the lead singer, it's just like, oh, this is just another hat to put on. But it's a little more personal because you're like, they're my songs. It's a little more like I'm revealing more to myself, but it's, for the most part, it was a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. Before you got in, were you familiar with the music scene and a lot of the members that are in it now?
Oh, no, not really. I kind of miss the moment, like the salad days where people were all hanging out and like really good stuff was happening, like Gypsy Foot and Fat Dad. Like I was in Portland, or I was like studying and not going out seeing shows.
Nerd.
Yeah, I was a giant nerd and still am. But yeah, it wasn't until like I came back to Bismarck that I really started, and I was like much more comfortable talking with people around that time too. I think the experience living on my own, being in a different city, helped me socially, just being able to interact with people more confidently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I met a lot of those people like around that time. There was an open mic at Rhythm Records that I think for me was really instrumental in, one, like meeting a lot of musicians, and then two, just being creatively inspired and like having a place where like if I wrote a song, I could go to the open mic and sing my stupid song and get instant feedback. And it was pretty, at the time, it was just really encouraging. It was a good vibe.
One thing I've always loved about our music scene, and I think this translates to every music scene across the country, all the bands kind of seem inbred.
Yeah.
In a sense, like
for sure.
Nolan's been in this band, and I played with his drummer in another band, and that drummer played in a different band with you. And it's like everybody is constantly changing bands and positions even.
Yeah. And I love that. I constantly interested by that, and I agree with you. I think that's every scene has that cross-pollination, and as long as like you don't have the people that are like in 8 bands and like have diminishing returns, I think it's a good thing, because like I think it's hard for any one band to fill like all the wants and desires of any musician. Like sometimes it's good to spread your wings a little bit, do something that's a little out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, very much so. Right.
And like even genre-wise, like I'm lucky to have played with a lot of different musicians and like a lot of different kind of genres. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at mixing and matching with that. But like I played in a like 90s cover band and played bass with the metal guys, and like we got on great. And so I think that sometimes there are those divisions, those cliques, but like we're all at the same day, we are devoted to this ridiculous premise of like spending all this money on gear, not getting any money from like gigs or yeah. So it's just like first world
it's
problems.
Very
but,
costly. You're spending all your money toward your passion.
Yeah, but it's you unite in a way too, because you know you're not the only one with this urge to create and to.
Is that why band musicians are always so broke? It's not because they don't get paid. It's because they spend all their money on guitars and
I think that's
gear and
definitely
instruments.
a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in this together, and I wish that there was maybe just more funding or education or something, or more support. Like we have a bunch of great potential venues, but like it's so hard like booking shows, and even once
You say potential venues that are going to get better or grow, and honestly, I'm not seeing that. I was saying it the other day, like how come we don't have that like really good venue in town that can bring national and regional acts? You know, I'm not talking, we don't need to be a big event center, but just big enough to hold a couple hundred.
Yeah, I think it all starts for me with promoting. Like I think that it's been so conservative, the promotion, and like in Fargo they're getting really good acts. There are plenty of successful touring musicians that like want to fill a day. And like Fargo is realizing that. I think Bismarck really needs to catch up with that, because I think the audience is there too. Like Record Store Day, there were so many people, young people that I saw that were like supporting music, and it was really, really cool to see. I think that there is that base there, but I just feel like the leadership in control is a little tone deaf with that and hasn't quite figured that out. So
where do you think that falls upon? You think that's venues, promoters?
It's both, but I mean, I think we already have good venues. Like the Bell Mayhews, that is a good venue, and they should.
It's a good venue, but it's not a great venue.
Yeah,
you know, I'm saying this as somebody who would like to be up front in. You know, I'm never going to see Pennywise at the Bell. For one, it's all seating.
Yeah.
It's all chair seating.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we need like an actual music venue to get the really good acts. Like that's kind of number one. You need to have a venue that people are stoked about, that will support an audience and will be able to support the touring acts that come. So I agree with you. That's kind of like priority number one. But as far as like local acts, I feel like there could be more like local promotion. I always liked the Post in Mandan. Like that's a fun place.
That's a fun place, yeah.
Yeah, there's these places that were built a long time ago with the intention of having live music, and they were thinking about that at the time. They're not like horrible venues as far as sound goes and seating goes. It's just how do we get people to come out?
Yeah.
I see in a city like Minot, it just seems like they have more organization and more structure as far as people talking goes, where I feel like that it's kind of split in Bismarck. It's a little, there's some bands that are pretty successful at what they do, like playing shows out in other towns in North Dakota and elsewhere. I would like to see a little more kind of like cooperation. And I feel like there's enough people that have been in the music scene doing things for a long time that could. Are
you saying we need to get a collective going on?
Yeah, a collective, like something like that. I was just one of my friends that I play music with was telling me that there was like a musicians, some kind of alliance going. I can't remember what the name of it is. and it's like all old members that are like there needs to be a
Tread
transfusion,
lightly.
there needs to be new blood.
Yeah, a blood transfusion. Okay. So you're saying these guys are too old and lazy and they're not doing jack shit around here? Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm hearing.
I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, especially people I don't know. I just have heard through the grapevine that there's people collecting dues, not playing music for this, that like maybe I could get on this. I'd like to get a little extra money on the side for just being a musician. Sounds nice.
Right. It does sound nice. But yeah, what's the point though? Like if you're not really seeing more shows here, if that's actually going on now and we're not really seeing any benefits of it, what's the point?
Exactly. But that's where I think that we have more power than we think we do. And I think that
we do.
Yeah.
Let's get some shit going on here.
Yeah,
We need to get some more shows.
I'm down for
with
that.
you. We're gonna start a collective here and get something moving.
Sounds good.
Problem
to me.
with that is like you always need at least one or two people that really have that fire in their gut.
For sure. And I feel like I had that fire in my 20s, and I'm a little more cynical. I'm a little more defeated as an individual. So I'm not sure if I'm that person, but I would...
I don't know if I am either. I used to be, but God damn it, I want to be.
Yeah, same here. I'll always be a supporter of local music. I'll always be a supporter of creativity in any sense of the word. Like if someone has something to say, I want them to get that out and feel supported. And yeah, it's an uphill battle here. It always will be. But I think it's one that it needs to be fought. And even if I'm more a supporter and not as much as a participator, I'm okay with that. Like I'm gonna turn 40 this summer. Like I don't really feel the need or the urge to like make it with music. It's just I know that I've lived long enough to know that I need it as a part of my life. And so I'm just kind of trying to find the balance with that, with the jobs that I have to do to make sure that I can pay bills and all that.
Earlier, you mentioned a DUI. Is that something you want to touch base on? Do you have a story there?
Yeah, there's definitely a story. It's embarrassing and painful, but I can run through the broad strokes.
All right, oofta.
Yeah, I was in my late 20s, I think, and was playing music in bands. My job at the time was my friend had bought a bid through the USPS, so I was a postal worker, which I enjoyed when I wasn't the only person, but then like throughout the whole winter, it was just me, cold. It wasn't a bad
Postal
job,
worker.
but
Are you doing like rural routes?
well, it's technically a rural route, but it was in the city limits.
Okay.
So it was by...
So you're a subcontractor.
Yeah. They, at the time, they probably still do this, but they would contract these bids out to other people. And the gig that we had was pretty nice. It was like West Century, that mall, like Best Buy and that stuff, Touchmark, and then kind of the homes just north of that. So pretty nice neighborhood. And it was good, but it was like I was ready to be done. And so around that time, I had some friends in other cities in the West USA, and I kind of wanted this road trip. So I had kind of coordinated things together that I'd be going to Portland, where I had lived, and California, I believe, too. And I had a buddy in New Mexico that I had visited earlier. Yeah, so the first stop on that was
Wait, you're going to hit all these spots on a road trip?
that was the plan. It didn't
Okay.
end up happening, spoiler. But that was the plan. And I was having car troubles. This is the 2006 Subaru Impreza still.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that I would have any problems. Like I had just taken it in, just got an oil change. And then just as I started, something was like rumbling, something wasn't right.
And you're like, this can't be. I just had it in.
Yeah, exactly. One of those moments.
Oh, man, that sucks. I just had that moment, yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst. And then there was one friend that I wanted to visit in Montana that I wasn't able to. It didn't work out. So there was another friend that I didn't know as well, but I went to visit her in Billings. That night, went to a bar. We both got a little intoxicated. I realized that she wasn't good to drive, so I offered to drive, and we had stopped, and I guess we kind of hit it off. We were like making out in the car. It was stopped. It was parked. The keys it wasn't on, and we were like,
you're pulled off to the side of the road.
We're pulled off to the
right?
side. Yeah, we're pulled off to the side of the road. We're not on the road.
So you pull over, you make out, maybe a couple hand stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it progressed pretty quickly,
Yeah.
but the cops came and they...
just pulled up right behind you?
Yeah, and at that time, like, we were full on, like, having set intercourse. And,
and this cop is like, oh, hot diggity duck.
Yeah, and it was her car. It wasn't even my car. And I guess, like, for whatever reason, I went to the front seat, but I wasn't even in the front seat. Anyways, unbeknownst to me, my license had been suspended because I had paid a speeding ticket or parking ticket late, like not on time, but they still suspended my license, and I had moved, so like it all got lost in translation. But,
oh wow, okay.
But they threw me in jail. Like there was, I was in jail like all night, basically until like I was able to
post bail or something.
Something I don't even know what happened, but that happened.
Yeah, maybe they just held you for the one night.
Yeah, and like I had blew under the limit, but they still got me with a DUI. Like I had blown under the legal limit. I don't know how they got around that, but they still charged me
cops,
with a DUI.
That's how.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been in that situation.
Yeah, I mean they weren't the best. Like it was.
I wonder if they caught you at a timid moment and you just kind of said yes, sir, okay, ... Threw you in jail. I mean, how did they throw you in if you blew under? You know.
Because I think even at the time, like I had said, well, I think I threw my Miranda rights or something. I don't know.
Right, you did it.
It's all kind
you
of
did some admission probably at some point.
Yeah,
that was enough for them to. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a horrible experience, and it kind of like ruined my vibe for the trip. And I drove back, and it was like a real defeating moment in my life.
You drove back to North Dakota?
I drove back to North Dakota.
Oh.
Yeah. And also at that time in my life, I think I was playing a lot of music, but I was also getting paid in beer, and I think I was very, very close to having a drinking problem. And I think part of it was like the company that I kept, like there was a lot of drinking, and I wasn't in a good place, like emotionally, mentally, and so took me a while to get my affairs in order. Like I had to go back to Billings for the the trial to pay for everything, and it was a hard moment in my life just to kind of like grow up and face some tough things. Like I had to be honest with myself, and I didn't have a car for a while, and eventually that Subaru, even though I don't think my sister had a license at the time, my parents gave the Subaru to her and her husband, so I didn't have a car. I was just kind of walking a lot, and...
So did you actually lose your license at this point, or were you just...
Yeah, I had lost my license, and also I skipped a couple steps where I was caught driving under suspension, and I was charged with another DUI. Again, it was like a matter where I blew under the legal limit, but they still charged me. This was in Bismarck. So it was just, I wasn't handling things right.
Right. Yeah.
But also I feel like that was kind of the start of just feeling like I was being targeted a little bit too.
Right. Yeah. At one point, the world's also against you. You know, like any move you make is
It
going to
definitely
be the
felt
wrong
like
move.
that at the time. Like
Sure.
there were certain occasions where like around that time I was like kind of working at the record store in Bismarck, but I had like parked my car in a spot where like people will tell you if you see you, and I didn't think about that at the time. I wasn't there for long. I was like, my car was there literally for like 10, 15 minutes, and someone towed my car, had to get that out.
Oh man, that's not long at all. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a moment in my life where it just kind of felt like everything and everyone was out
Yeah.
to get me. But sometimes you have bad moments like that in your life, and you have to change. And eventually, I did. Eventually, I got a little less sloppy, and just a little more cognizant that it's a wide world out there, and you gotta be wary.
Yeah, really. Sometimes what happens is you make a mistake and it's a continuous domino effect of stream of fuck ups.
Yeah,
That
and
sucks, though.
it's really hard to break that cycle, and I still feel that way sometimes. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was legitimately cursed before I was born. Like in Minneapolis, my mom was on the bus, and there was this crazy old gypsy lady that was like, "I curse your unborn child," and it was me.
Holy shit.
It's a fun story,
That is, yes.
but like I feel
Please.
like
Please, now you have to share.
I mean, it's pretty much that. Like, there's not much more to it. Like, all I know is like, obviously, I wasn't cognizant of it at the time because I was in my mom's uterus. But yeah, my parents didn't tell me that until I think it was like my 13th birthday or something, and it kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like at some point, it has the danger of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've had a lot of shitty luck in my life, and I'm just I feel like I had a target on my back as far as like interacting with narcissists for a long time, and it broke me. And I think my younger self, I was a lot more naive and a lot more innocent and pure and wanted to believe in other people, and now it's like it's harder for
I know.
me.
I get that. I've been you want to see the world as you are.
Yeah.
And if you are a trustworthy person, you see others as trustworthy.
Yeah. But that's exactly the energy that people that aren't trustworthy love. Like they love just getting their hands on someone
Feed
that
off
will
it.
yeah. So it's been a life, and
I feel for you, bro.
thank you.
And I almost find that curse hilarious.
It is.
Like-
I mean, there's a lot of aspects of my life where it's like, if I ever write the book, I mean, in hindsight, they are funny, but it's in the moment it was pretty painful.
Yeah. When's the last time you scabbed your knee?
Oh, I've been fortunate with the knee accidents. When I was a kid, I did so much stupid shit. Like there was one time I was running around in a video store, and like somehow my knee went right into one of like the hooks of like the things that hold the movies. And it like legitimately, like there was a cut like this deep, and I had to go to the emergency room.
Like 2 inches? What is that?
Yeah, like at least 2 inches. It was nuts, and I was just bleeding profusely in the movie store. Yeah, I did a lot of stupid shit, even like teens and 20s. Like took chances with my body, thinking that I was invincible, and I'm a little more careful now. Like every once in a while, like stub my toe or something.
Yeah. Toes are always going to be on my list of things to go. I don't know why, because I've done it my whole life, but I still continuously do it.
Yeah, and you always feel like an idiot after, and it's just like, that's never gonna fucking happen to me again. But like, somehow it happens.
But I asked because I saw like a guy at the library the other day who had his knee all scabbed up, getting an infection.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was like, you better go see somebody before they chop that off. It was all bloated and gross.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Like,
But it made me think, like, man, when was the last time I've done that? And it's been a while, you know?
yeah.
Like to have like that good old scab where like later on you can find it right just for plucking.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely remember those times. There is something satisfying about plucking the scab after, even though it's horrible to do.
Wanted to ask a little more about the trombone.
Sure.
It's a weird instrument to play.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the weirdest. It was the sackbut. That's what they called it in...
The what?
Sackbut. That's the old name for the trombone, like in the old days.
Wait.
You never knew this?
No. Oh, hold on. Did you say sack? Butt?
Sackbut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, think of all the words that you get clumped together.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is that? Why is sack butt?
I don't know. Like, ask... I guess I have never been that curious. I just know that that's what it used to be called.
All right.
But maybe I'll become a entomology expert just to answer that question next time.
As a trombone player, I'm sure you've heard rusty trombone, right?
Oh, yeah, I've heard all the
jokes.
all the jokes, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Like, I mean, it's kind of a joke of an instrument. It's like, it's a weird instrument. Funnily enough, it's like the one instrument that my son is absolutely terrified of. Like, all the other instruments, he's like, yeah, play your ukulele, play your guitar. But I start practicing the trombone, and he's like, this is the devil's instrument.
Is it because you're facing him doing it from like 2 feet away, and you're just smashing him in the face every time you play it?
No, I'm trying to like actively like not play it directly in front of him because I know that it is kind of a brash instrument. Like, I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like, I think I said before, it was just, I had a moment where 4th grade, end of the year, they're like, choose an instrument. And I was immediately drawn to the trombone. I didn't try any other instrument. It was just, that was the instrument for me. And I have a love and hate relationship with it because it's unpredictable. Like, there's sometimes certain tones, certain things that I can't get out of the trombone that I could with like any other instrument. And part of that is like my embouchure, the way my face is shaped. Early on, my trombone teacher was like, yeah, that embouchure is fucked up. And it's, my teeth are fucked up. Like, my embouchure is like a little more up on the mouth than would be ideal. It is who I am at this point. Like, I think I have a distinct style. There are like certain legends of trombone playing that I'm like inspired by, and I'm never going to get to that level. I'm not going to be like a trombone legend, but I think I have my own style. And it's like, I have fun playing trombone in the ska band that I'm playing in. I have fun playing trombone in the R&B soul band, especially playing in a horn section. It's awesome. And it's a unique instrument, so I'm glad that I'm still playing, and I'm proud to be a trombone player.
One quick question about the trombone. Have you ever put anything at the end of your trombone to like stick out so when you swing it back and forth, like... I'm just asking.
Yeah. No, it's funny how I've never thought of doing that. Maybe I will at some point, but yeah, that's funny.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate hearing your story.
Yeah, no, I'm honored. It's cool to be. You've got a cool hook for a podcast, and it's fun reminiscing.
Any other last stories you want to share, or anything you want to get out here?
Oh, I just want to shout out my son Riker. He turned 3 on April 14th, and I don't see him as much as I would like to, but I love you and love my family, extended family, all my teachers, all the people I play music with. I wouldn't be anywhere as a musician without like the outside people that I've like been able to talk music with or play music with. That's so important. So shout out to all those people.
I like to eat so much where I don't eat for another 3 days.
Sure.
You know, I'm just digesting and farting like the whole time.
Yeah, that's why Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, because it's like you don't have to buy people shit. You can just like eat and
Yeah, you don't have to buy people
and
shit.
nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.